All right, another Algebra 1 review concept are exponent rules. So I've got a couple of different basic rules over here on the left that I'm going to work out for you in examples, and then we're going to combine them into one problem. So when we're taking a variable to the third power times a variable to the eighth power, all we have to do when we multiply these are add the exponents. So x to the third times x to the eighth is x to the 3 plus 8, which is x to the 11th. When we're dividing variables, x to the 5th divided by x to the 2nd, we subtract them. 5 minus 2 gives us x to the 3rd. On the opposite side though, if these were flipped around backwards, if we had 2 in the numerator and 5 in the denominator, or to the 2nd and the 5th, okay, we could do the same thing. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. And you'll see what happens with that when we get down to the bottom of these examples. Anything to the 0 power, a variable, a number, anything, is just 1. When we're taking a variable of a power to another power, okay, so x to the 3rd to the 2nd power, we multiply our powers. 3 times 2 is 6. All right, and x to the negative 3rd. Anytime we have a negative variable, just like we ended up with in our division rule. Okay, imagine this is over 1. What's going to happen with your negative variable or your negative power, it's going to go to the other side of the fraction bar and become positive. So it was in my numerator, it goes to the denominator and becomes positive. If there's nothing in the numerator now, we consider there being a 1. All right, so in our sample problem, I like to work these out in 2 separate orders. I like to simplify the numerator as much as possible and then the denominator as much as possible. So 2 to the 3rd power, or 2 times 2 times 2, is going to give us 8. A power to a power, that's where we multiply a power to a power. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Okay, so I took the 2 to the 3 and I took the x to the 3rd power. All right, in my denominator, I have one constant. If I had another, if there were a 2 here, I would multiply 4 times 2, but I just have 4. And we have x times x to the 5th. Remember, we multiply, we add the powers. So we have 1 minus 5. So we get x to the negative 4th. Okay, in this case, we need to go back to our negatives. Negatives are going to change sides of the fraction bar and become positive. So I'm going to leave my 8 in the numerator and my 4 in the denominator for now. X to the 6 goes to the denominator and becomes positive. X to the negative 4 will go to the numerator and become positive. All right, so now we have a variable divided by a variable. So we subtract them. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Remember, when we have negatives, they flip sides of the fraction bar and become positive. And the last thing I need to do is simplify 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2 over 1, or just 2 in the numerator, and the x squared stays in the denominator.